This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. For more information, visit our website, ncarc.net. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Good evening, all. This is Kilo Zero Lima Alpha Oscar, Net Control Operator for the Amateur Radio Emergency Services Region 3 District 2 monthly installment of DMR Net. The mission of this Amateur Radio Emergency Services is to provide reliable alternate communications for our served agencies in time of emergency, disaster, or national crisis. Our district serves the agencies of Larimer and Weld County. My name is Luann, and I am located in Loveland, Colorado. This net meets every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. local time, for the purpose of planning, practicing, and discussing the activities of the ARES Region 3 District 2 group. This is a directed net, and all traffic will go through net control. Before we get started, is there any emergency traffic for the net? If any emergency arises, say break, and we will handle the emergency with top priority. Is there any formal NTS traffic for the net? This net is open to anyone licensed to operate on this repeater and interested in amateur radio public service communication. This net is affiliated with the Amateur Radio Emergency Services of the American Radio Relay League. However, ARES, or ARRL, membership is not required to check in. This is Kilo Zero Lima Alpha Oscar, net control for the ARES R3D2 net. This net will accept check-ins in order of ARES affiliation. All stations will have an opportunity to check in. However, please wait for your appropriate check-in group. Remember to check out if you need to leave prior to the closing of the net. When checking in, please give the following: your call sign, first alphabetically, then again with the international phonetics, your name, your location, and whether or not you have an announcement or comment for the net. I will now take check-ins from the R3D2 served agency directors. Served agency directors only. Please check in now.
Good evening, Luann in the net. Here is KI0K Kilo. James in Loveland, Region 3 East, and Loveland EOC. And no traffic tonight.
The net would like to acknowledge KI0KN. James, are there any other served agency directors? Served agency directors, please check in now. Yes, I'm learning push then talk. One more call for served agency directors. Please check in now. I will now move to ARES members. ARES members, Alpha through Mike.
KA6 ETE, that's Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo, Jim in Loveland.
KE0 LSL Kilo Echo 0 Lima Sierra Lima, Al in Greeley with no traffic.
The net would like to acknowledge KA6ETE and KE0LSL. ARES members, Alpha through Zulu.
WA5VRL Whiskey Alpha 5 Victor Romeo Lima Willis Fort Collins. Couple of announcements, and I think I'm supposed to do the training thingy.
Well, WA5VRL has you on the log for announcements and the training thingy. Any more ARES members, Alpha through Zulu? Well, this is looking like it's going to be a really small, nice little cozy group. I will take check-ins from any member, ARES or served agency directors or anybody else that wants to check in. Please check in now. Well, hearing none, I will go to WA5VRL for your announcement.
Alrighty, very good. Well, because of the fact that we're on DMR and not very many people have that, we'll keep it really short. The first announcement would be that second Saturday of this month, 14th of March, is our monthly VE test session at Poudre Valley REA, and that starts around 9 a.m. It's open to all that want to come. We'll have all levels testing, and the Poudre Valley REA is a quarter mile east of I-25 on just off of Highway 392. Go east quarter mile, hit South County Road 5, turn south, and immediately turn east again into the parking lot. And if there's any questions, we'll be making this announcement again next week on the regular net, week from today. Second announcement would be that we have our annual weather training scheduled also at Poudre Valley REA on the 28th of March, and that would start, I believe, around 8 a.m. And if folks haven't been there in the last year or so, they probably need to get caught up on the training. And that's about all I have for announcements, so I'll turn it back to Net Control, WA5VRL, over.
This is K0LAL. Are there any additional comments or questions for the net? Please call now. Hearing none, we're back to you, Willis, for the training.
Very good. And we're going to repeat these announcements about the VE testing and the weather training on the net next week also. Since we're on DMR, instead of actual training, what I'm going to do is just throw out another reminder. Spring is approaching, and so is the severe weather season. The weather training is already scheduled for the 28th at the Poudre Valley REA, but March is also one of the best times to do some spring cleaning and prep work regarding the ham stuff that you have. It's a good idea to set aside some time to inspect and test the individual components that make up your home and mobile stations, and then along with the radio equipment, you really should check all the cables, power sources, and antennas, and so on. Basically everything from the operating position all the way to where the signal meets the air. It's always better to check that stuff when you don't need it rather than having to do a panic fix when you get ready to use it and something doesn't work. Just take the time to clean up the operating location and all the equipment. Pay attention to any gear that needs ventilation. The dust and other debris that settles on equipment over the years does restrict the airflow, and it can also act as insulation. It'll cause the equipment to run above elevated temperatures that you don't want to end up dealing with repairs for. Anyway, take a quick break and I'll finish this up. Never know how long to wait on this DMR stuff, but anyway, check all your RF cables, connectors, grounds, make sure the connections are tight, especially on mobile stuff. Also any locations where it's exposed to weather. Check the SWR on all the antennas and be sure to run all the transmitters up to full power, since some problems may not show up under reduced power. On the home stations, you can always use a pair of binoculars, good ones anyway, to inspect the antennas and outside feed lines without having to get up on the roof or climb towers, unless you're into that kind of thing. Also inspect all the ropes, guy wires, support structures, verify that all anchor points are secure. We get some really good winds in the spring, and you never know when you might get hit with a microburst. Anyway, As you perform the inspection, you can make note of anything you find that needs to be added to a routine maintenance list, and you can make notes of the improvements that you can make on the home or mobile stuff going forward. It's also a good time to check and refresh the home and mobile emergency kits. If you intend to do mobile storm spotting, make sure the vehicle is in reliable condition and make sure you take care of any maintenance that's needed. Also pay real good attention to the condition of the weather stuff like tires and wiper blades. And verify your first aid kit's fully stocked up and the other gear, the tow ropes, leather gloves, tools, flashlights, jumper cables, blah, 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 all in good condition and properly stored. Anyway, that's really all I've got for now. WA5VRL, 730 all hands, and back to net.
Thank you, Willis, for that. I send Philip on the roof because I don't do roofs. But, yep, we're kind of looking at all our stuff and batten down the hatches and get things ready to go. Before closing, are there any additional stations who would like to check into our ARES R3D2 net? If so, please call now.
Kilo Delta Zero, Uniform Juliet Kilo, Steve, Weld County District AEC and Weld EOC Director.
Wrong bleep there. Thank you, Steve. KB0UJK. Any more check-ins before we close the net? Hearing none, I will check everyone with their call sign. KI0KN.
KI0KN, thanks, Luann. Great job tonight.
KA6ETE.
KA6ETE. Thank you, Luann.
KE0LSL.
KE0LSL. Thank you.
WA5ZRL.
WA5VRL, thanks for doing the net. Good job. 7-3.
And last but not least, KD0UJK.
KD0UJK, and thanks for doing the net, Luann.
I would like to thank each station for checking in and the NCARC and for the use of their repeater this evening. All stations with appropriate privileges are invited to check in to the statewide ARES HFNet on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on a frequency of 3.810 megahertz, and the statewide ARES VHFNet on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. on a 145.310 megahertz, using a tone of 88.5 hertz. For further information about ARES R3D2, please go to the www.coloradoaresr3d2.org. This evening was a small but mighty group of 6 of us, including net control. The next ARES R3D2 net will be next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. This is Kilo 0 Lima Alpha Oscar, closing the net at 7:19 local time and returning the amateur radio, returning this repeater, I should say, to normal amateur radio use. 73, and good evening all.